are at table number 1, weighted meter sticks, or weighted barbell meter sticks. And we are trying to see if we can feel the difference between setting this in motion rotationally. Okay, look what I'm able to do. Okay, kind of like you would twirl a baton, except for I can't go all the way around. And we can see the ease at which I can do this. There are half kilogram weights on each side, about 5 centimeters. We put in the calculation that you were assuming this was 5 centimeters away from the axis of rotation. And then we have the other one with the same weights on it. Okay, so I'm going to grab it in the middle and I'm going to rotate this. All right, now look at how long it takes. It's a much slower swing happening and slower acceleration, right? I cannot, I'm using the same amount of force, and look at this again, okay? What I'm able to do, there's no way I'm able to do that, okay? This, notice it's hard to get going, and then it's hard to stop and get going in the other direction, all right? So there is no difference in mass here, but we definitely have, you can either consider this like a lever arm, or we can talk about the inertia of this. And so the inertia of the whole object would be, remember, inertia is the sum of all the masses times their r squared. So their distance from the axis of rotation. So we have this distance here, and this is a half kilogram, same thing here. So we're trying to do that, and then we're also rotating this meter stick, right? Now this meter stick we're going to treat like rotating a rod, all right? So there are 2 formulas here. One, that we have a mass a certain distance away, and this mass is not at one particular distance, right? So we have to use that, the formula for the inertia of a rod, and you're going to add those 2 together, okay, here, and then you're going to do it again here, and you will hopefully see that this one has much higher inertia, okay? All right, let's go to table number 2, balancing some meter sticks, all right, and so table 2, and for table 2, you are going to compare putting something like this with the masses down low near your hand and seeing how it is to try to balance, okay? All right, and look at how that goes back and forth. And then we're gonna try it this way with the masses at the top. And you might think if you have a low center of mass, it's going to be easier. But do you notice how this one's a little more stable? I'm just terrible at this. But if you have the masses at the top, all right, that means the mass is far from an axis of rotation. And so it has a lot more inertia. And if it has a lot more inertia and there's the same torque on it, so the same pull of gravity, then it turns out it actually will fall slower. If you look at this again, how quickly, right, this wobbles, and here, right, that it tips slower. This actually tips at a slower rate, okay? All right, so you just have to look at your formula. One of the formulas, torque equals I times alpha, and we can conclude that, okay? All right, let's go to table number 3. All right, and table number 3, some crazy stuff. Spinning on a platform. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do this alone. I need to capture that chair. All right, this is gonna be some scary stuff here. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can set myself rotating here. I'm gonna have my arms out because we know my arms out with large masses. Oh, it's heavy. Arms out with large masses means I have a high inertia, and we're gonna try to do the conservation of momentum here. Let me get myself going. My arms out. Okay, and then arms out, and we can see how I change my spin rate there. Woo, I'm dizzy. All right, so again, so it's like the figure skater. Start with your arms out with lots of inertia. When you bring your arms in, your inertia decreases, and when I goes down, our omega, or rotational velocity, has to go up to maintain the same amount of momentum, okay? Because instead of mv equals mv, it's iw equals iw. All right. Next table. All right. This one's a tricky one for me to try to demonstrate. I'm going to give it a shot. Okay. So we have in here our coins. I have to dry off because we sanitize them for everyone to be safe. And I have 2 quarters here, okay, and a penny. Okay, I'm going to sandwich the penny between the 2 quarters. Then I'm going to hold my hand out and I'm going to try to open up my fingers just so I let go of the quarter. Now if I just the bottom quarter. Now if I let go of this bottom quarter, I have no choice. I'm not holding that penny smaller. It's going to be released too. But I'm going to keep hold of that top quarter. All right, and when I do this, all right, do you see? The penny landed on the bottom. Okay, now the penny wasn't there to start with, so that's very interesting, all right? I let go, right? Penny is on the bottom. If the penny's on the bottom, that means this had to flip or rotate. So what would make it flip or rotate? Well, when I let go, you can't let go of both sides at the same time. So one finger, let's say this side let go first. Then I kind of have like a hinge effect and then the pull of gravity on the other side. So like a torque, and if you get a torque, we can get a rotation. So this just happened to have enough rotation that it landed upside down when I ended up catching it here. Okay, so I don't want the penny to land side down, so I won't let it happen. How can I prevent that from happening? Right there. Okay, do you see? The penny landed on top this time. All right, what did I do? I did a little twist. And if you do a twist or spin, now this whole thing is spinning. And if it is spinning, it has momentum. And momentum is a vector and it has a direction. And if it's spinning, the more it's spinning, the more momentum it has, and the more it does not, it will resist changing that motion. So even though I put a little bit of torque on it, this thing, that's like, you know, having a car going really fast. You put a little bit of force on it, you're still not going to stop that car. It wants to keep going. This wants to keep spinning with a direct, whatever which way it was spinning, with direct, spin up, spin down. It does not want to wobble, because if it starts to flip, that would be changing the direction of momentum, therefore changing the momentum. All right, so it stays more stable. When do we use a skill like this kind of phenomenon? Is when you play football and you put a spin on the ball so it flies straight and doesn't wobble. If you play frisbee and you make sure to have a good spin on it, then it flies really nice and straight, okay? So when you have a spin, right, you have angular momentum, has a direction, and resists change. Okay, let's move on. All right, welcome to my egg corral. All right, what do I got here? So this is to keep people from breaking eggs, although there was still one broke today. I don't know how people managed to do that. All right, so this is a raw egg, and we're gonna set this in a spinning motion really well. Okay, I really got that spinning. And then I'm gonna stop it. And then when I let go, it keeps spinning. And do it again. Get a good spin on it. All right, I'm gonna stop it. And then it starts again. All right, so realize what did I stop? Is I stopped just the outside of the egg. The inside of the egg still was rotating, wants to keep rotating. And so even though I stopped the outside, the inside of the egg kept spinning, and so it would keep moving. It'd start moving again. And this is a good way to tell if you have a raw egg or a cooked egg. All right. Okay, this one's gonna be kind of tricky to do by myself, but I'm gonna give it a shot here. Okay, I've got a platform that I'm gonna be standing on that allows it to spin. All right, so I can just kind of, spin in a circle on this platform. We're gonna see how this works. I am gonna do a few things. One, I'm gonna show you one way we can do this, is I'm gonna get this spinning really fast. And I'm gonna hold on to it and look at this. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and I could do this then in this way as well. This is what the lab says. All right, we have a spin in this way. First of all, the spin is in this direction. I'm gonna make it spin up. And look what happened to my body. And I'm gonna make it have a spin down. And look what happened to my body. All right, spin up. Okay, right? So this is spinning this way. If I give this a spin up and there was not a spin up before, right? So this now has a spin up momentum, then this has to counteract that because the total momentum has to be conserved. So if I change the direction of this, it will change this to accommodate, okay? So if there was no up momentum before, then there still can't be any up momentum. So if I give this wheel up momentum, this platform is gonna have a down momentum, right? Or velocity, right? You know, or which becomes then the momentum to make it still add up to the same. All right, so fairly interesting. Let me get this going again. It's even trickier. Okay, I'm gonna get a glove on and do the last little thing here. Get it going again. All right, I'm gonna try to put this over my head, okay? Now watch. I'm gonna grab this wheel and stop it. All right, now look what it did. So I just robbed this of its momentum. So if I take away this up momentum that it had, then my overall system has to have the same momentum it had before. So if this thing no longer has an up momentum, then my platform's gonna have an up momentum. All right, so this whole system has to maintain or conserve its momentum. Okay, next, this one's just silly. I'm now on the astronaut twist. So if you're out in space, you cannot, right, if you're not touching anything, how do you turn around in space if you can't push against anything, right? That's a bit of a problem. So here is one way you can do it. It's almost like doing the Cabbage Patch. You can start with your arms out and then bring them in. And I can get myself, if I was in space without grabbing on anything, I can get myself to turn around. So the secret is starting far out and having a certain, swinging your arms, but if I bring them in, right, then I have a different amount of inertia, and with that, then the platform turns to kind of compensate. So that's kind of funny. All right, then, last but not least, we're gonna take a look at a gyroscope. Some people have never handled one before. Let me see if I can show this. There's a lot of broken gyroscopes here. Let's see. Okay, got a string here. All right, let me try this one. And this little stand. And then I have another really long term one here. Okay, so with a gyroscope, it's like a top, but it's just a little fancier. And there's a little hole in the shaft that you put the string through. Some people just don't know even how to wind these. All right, and so you don't have to tie any, some people are like trying to tie knots and all. You don't tie any knots. You just, it's kind of like what you could do with a yo-yo too. So we are just wrapping. I'm gonna spin this gyroscope just to wind that string around. And the faster you get the gyroscope spinning, the more angular momentum it has, the more momentum it has, the more stable it's going to be because again, it wants to hold that position. So here I'm gonna try to get this rolling. All right, and I can set it, whoa, oh man, oh man. Okay, I can set it on there and let me see what you see. So it's quite stable, right? I mean, as long as it's spinning fast, I can pick this up and everything. You could do tricks and put these on a wire. It starts to precess after a while. So the faster it spins, and notice it tries to put some, these are still cheap. They're like $8, and I wish I could find nice heavy duty big ones, but it tries to put some larger mass on the outside here so that it can have more momentum. Here's a fancy one that I got, I got this one on eBay. This is a 5-minute top, and I'm not going to make my video last 5 minutes. Let's see if I can wind this at all real quick here. All right. This one, notice it's made out of brass, so it's really heavy. Its center of mass is really low. Its weight is, or mass is distributed on the outside there. And this thing can haul for like 5 minutes. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's quiet. You can see there. It's just spinning really, really fast. And we could really, really let that go for a long time. All right, it's pretty smooth. It wanders a little bit, not too bad. That tells you how stable overall that is. All right, okay. I think that is it. So hopefully you can answer the rest of the questions for this lab. This is a fun one. Really, if you try any of these things in person, it's way